Welcome to the CSR Journal. Today we are joined by Ms. Ritu Chhabria, Managing Trustee, Mukul Madhav Foundation and Director of Finolex Industries. Welcome to the chat, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, at the outset we would like to know about CSR activities that Mukul Madhav Foundation has been undertaking.
Well, first of all, Mukul Madhav Foundation is now 19 years old. We've been working in the field of upgrading, uplifting of hospital as well as education facilities. We do not believe in making anything new. We believe there are many existing and we'd like to upgrade and uplift those. We started our work in 1999 is when we were incepted. We've been working since then and we've been quite successful in bringing the change towards pediatric units as well as existing schools and many other institutions. We are working now formally within the norms of the CSR, which is 10 different categories that we work under. I'm happy to say we cover at least 7 of them. I think CSR for a lot of people has been a sort of a mixture of PR and CSR.
Right.
So now it's time to segregate that and see that it's carried out in 2 different fields.
You know, as you very correctly pointed out, the relation between PR and CSR. So CSR is being used by many companies as a PR exercise. So I'm not doubting that they are not doing social work, but it is essentially building up an image with the work they're doing.
Well, truthfully, there is an overlap between the 2. It's very difficult to segregate it, but at the same time, PR is when you're trying to sort of do your building of your image and getting to meet the right people and making sure that the right people know the work that you're doing. Here, I would say that Finolex sets itself apart. They're not really concerned about the name. It's more about the reach. And the reach that they have managed to do on their own, and now with the mandate of CSR that we are following through for them, has become it's not only name, it's the work. It's the intensity with the work that is being done.
You've been working with people who are leprosy affected or children who are disabled, cerebral palsy affected. What or how do you think can the mainstreaming really happen? Because we currently see that they are in some part of the some corner of the world. They are not mainstreamed into the usual society. How is that you think we can do that?
Well, first and foremost, I think our government needs to address that issue. It is something that the society at large needs to sort of address this issue, but more so should be the government, because the government all over does take precautions. In the first world countries, you see the differently abled being treated specially. They are not being treated specially here. We don't have provisions for them in transport and transportation, for example. That is where we are definitely lacking.
Correct.
We do not have wheelchairs being rolled into public transport. We don't have shuttle services that are often given to those who need to go for their treatments or physiotherapies. Yeah. So these are the differences that I feel, and I feel very strongly about this, and I think I have made it an agenda where I am fighting with too many people at different levels to see that we should bring these children, these people into the mainstream.
What is the involvement of employees of Finolex Industries in such activities?
They are my backbone. We have 900 reps, dealers. Everyone has really come together to make a big difference in the work that we do in the CSR. And even before the mandate of CSR, they've been helping Mukul Madhav reach out to appeals that come to us. For example, if we get an appeal from Jharkhand or from Lucknow or from Amritsar or Chandigarh, we have dealers and representatives who have willingly accepted that we will go do the verification, and within 48 hours they are verified, because they actually make a visit to those homes and come back and tell us whether these are genuine and cases that we should take on. So I don't think even the government works as fast as we do. Within 48 hours, we get things sanctioned, verified, and we move forward. So we're not wasting time at all.
Do you think this involvement of employees make them any better leaders at work as well?
Well, I feel it really motivates them. It motivates them, or not, I wouldn't use the word motivated, but they're becoming more and more self-conscious of what they're giving back to society. I have so many of them who call and say, "Ma'am, why don't you tell us what to do? What is the next agenda?" Which makes me feel good, because I feel then we've started a trend. We've started a trend where not only the reps or the dealers or the employees are getting involved, it's also their family members. So they've got, for example, a brother or a sister who's lending an arm as well.
Summer is about to come, and drought is becoming like a perennial season along with summers every year, especially in Maharashtra. What is that you think can be done to ensure that this cycle ends soon?
Well, I don't think anyone knows how to deal with this perennial problem, but I know that being part of water, pipes, Finolex, all going together synonymously, it's important to note that we have been looking at villages like Rade village in Sholapur, where we've helped them sort of dig through the cement that was there, bringing the water levels higher. So doing whatever is possible, wherever these appeals come from, we are always sort of helping out. Very difficult to sort of go to an area and say, okay, this is what we want to do, because first and foremost you face villagers and sarpanch and everyone saying, why do you want to come and what are you gaining out of this and whatever. So we wait for people to come, but if people don't come, we go to them. And yes, there are many places that we're sort of pushed away from for whatever agenda there may be, but 9 out of 10 do accept the fact that we're actually coming there as well-wishers and helping with the water problem.
What is the reaction when you say 9 out of 10? So what are these exceptional reactions from villagers?
Well, I think there you have to sort of be able to satisfy a sarpanch. He always wants something under the hand, over the table, under the hand, something or the other, which is not something that we do. We have a clear-cut understanding. If you want us, we want you. We want to work in a clear, clean way. So those are the 1% that I would say just sort of do not fit into our system.
What are your views about citizen social responsibility? The responsibility of a citizen for the society.
I think very important, and this is something that needs to be cultivated in our schools. And for my school, for example, Mukul Madhav Foundation in Ratnagiri, children have learned very young that each citizen, whether young or old, needs to be responsible towards their duties. It's not all about me, myself and I, it's about you giving back to society. You may earn 1 rupee, but even 1 paisa is a big deal for another person. So that's the philosophy my students have. And we do Ek Mutti Anaj Ki, which is during Diwali. Every child brings 1 fistful of rice. We collect it into 1 gunny bag, and we give it on to a handicap school in Ratnagiri. So I feel if children can start at that age, each one of us needs to stand up and say, okay, let me do my bit on a daily basis. And it's not on a monthly basis. I would urge people to do it on a daily basis.
As an individual, for yourself, how in your daily life, how would you take care ensuring that you are a socially responsible citizen?
Well, first and foremost, I make sure that I feed at least 100 street people. And this is on a daily basis. Okay, so it's not one day that passes by that we don't do that. So that's my bit of feeding, because I feel a stomach full is important. So one meal around lunchtime is something that we do on a daily basis.
To a specific organization or something?
Not an organization. We give it on the streets. We're actually on the streets feeding people, whether young, old, children, Hindu, Muslim, whoever. So whoever comes our way.
Representing Finolex Industries, what is that you do to ensure that you are having a responsible business? Let it be environmentally, let it be socially. How do you ensure it is a responsible business?
Well, it's a responsible business because we are making sure that environmentally we are not making any sort of waste go down the sea, the river. We do not have garbage lying around. We're making sure that we are best using it. We are involving people to come and segregate the dry waste and the wet waste. And in fact, we're going to be joining hands with a group very soon who will be collecting the dry and the wet waste, and in turn sort of recycling it and giving us notepads so we can put it into our boardrooms.
Okay.
So this is something which I'm urging all my friends. I've written to all my friends, and I think that we need to make sure that we are responsible in that way, because growing amount of waste, not knowing where it's going and how it's going to be dumped. So corporates need to take care of it. Hospitals, hotels, restaurants. I think each one needs to be involved in making sure that their garbage goes in the right place.
Do you think the whole sector of CSR needs more monitoring, stricter monitoring or vigilant monitoring towards the process?
It does, but how do you do it? It's easier said than done. There are so many red tapes.
Right.
There are so many problems that I find that even when I'm working, if I'm wanting to utilize the funds of the CSR, I can't, because there are so many rules, so many regulations. I feel it's nice enough to say we have this 2%, but somebody needs to sit from the authorities to say, okay, there are ways and means of getting this done, and you don't have to go through the loop. I mean, everyone's looking for loopholes.
Correct.
No, I'm not looking for loopholes. I'm looking for directives.
Correct.
And directives in an easy way. I don't want to spend my time on bureaucracy. I'd rather just have clear mandate. This is how you go. This is the person you meet. This is how this should be done.
Right.
There's 100 sort of papers, forms, fill this in, fill that up. There's too much into that, and that I think pushes you away. You're like, okay, cannot be bothered.
Demotivation.
Yeah, it demotivates you from actually doing the work you want to do.
Please tell us briefly, what is CSR to you?
Well, as it comes, it's corporate social responsibility, but I think it's care, service, and responsibleness are the three words. We need to be caring. We need to be, I don't know, it's well said that we're doing corporate social responsibility, but I think it needs a lot of care, a lot of planning, a lot of, what can I say? It's easily given to corporates to say use your 2%, but I don't find that corporates are doing their bit. At the end of the year, when their budget hasn't been, their money hasn't been spent, it's easy enough to say we're sending it to the CM's fund or the PM's fund. Where does that fund go, is my question. I would rather have a proper planning to say that we've carefully planned and socially we have done our bit,
Right.
and responsibly we have sort of emitted what we had planned.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, ma'am. It was indeed
My
our
pleasure.
pleasure.
Thank you so
ma'am.
much.